I'm Cadence. I'm going to interview you about your company today. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
I'm Amber Klein, and my company is Appalachian Abstracting.
What is your company?
It is a land service company, so we provide services to oil and gas companies depending on what their needs are.
When did you found your company?
In 2013.
What inspired you to do so?
Well, I was working with my brother, and we had been in the industry for a long time, for like 15 years, and we just decided that it was time for us to start our company of our own. And we had enough contacts and support that we were able to get that started.
What would you say your company's mission statement is?
We didn't have a formal mission statement, but we really wanted to be able to provide excellent, timely service to our customers. A lot of other companies, they had a bad reputation for they would take on jobs and drag things out, and or they would just hire a bunch of people and then the work not be to the quality that we felt that it should be. So we wanted to be the best.
What kind of product were you promoting?
We, like I said, wanted to provide whatever services these companies needed on the land side. So we had a variety of different clients, from actual oil and gas companies to law offices. Primarily, we did a lot of oil and gas title research work, so to allow companies to be able to go in and drill. We also did leasing and right-of-way work. A lot of research, just really hands-on, on the ground stuff.
What did the industry at the time kind of look like?
When we first started the company, it was very busy. It was towards the end of the last boom, but there were just tons and tons of companies that were just starting up, and then they would go away, or and it was just very, very busy. There was a lot of work for a lot of people.
So would you say you had to go out of your way to make yourself like known among competition, or?
Yes, to a certain extent, but we both already had a really stellar reputations in the industry. A lot of people knew who we were and the quality of our work, so we were able to stand on that to a certain extent. So some of our first clients were people that we had worked with in the past, and companies that we had worked with in the past. So that really helped, and we were able to provide, because the way that we decided to set up the company, we were able to provide services in a way that was more cost effective than some of the other companies, which definitely did not hurt.
And how would you describe how you managed to make your product more cost effective compared to other companies?
Well, most of the other companies at the time did not have their abstractors or landmen as employees. They had them as subcontractors. So basically, an oil and gas company would hire a brokerage, which is what we were, and then the brokers would hire people to do the work, the subcontractors, and each that might go through 3 or 4 different steps, and each person or company in that chain of events would take a certain percentage off of what a day rate was that they were paying each person, so that the person doing the work would get paid a day rate as opposed to getting paid by the hour. They were their own employees. They had their own businesses, so no taxes, no benefits, no anything like that. We decided to go to hire our people in as employees and pay them by the hour, and we made a real effort to make sure that everybody was trained and experienced adequately, so that we could get the work done in a timely fashion to make it make sense to pay people by the hour instead of by the day, because sometimes people that were getting paid by the day might just come in and work for like 2 or 3 hours versus actually showing up 8 o'clock in the morning and working until 5. We were really able to focus and get our work done, and our employees were a lot happier also because they were employees. Because the problem with being an independent contractor is that your job can end at any time, and you don't have, you're not going to get unemployment because you work for yourself. And so they had that added security of, so maybe they didn't make quite as much as they thought they might have been able to, independently, but they also didn't have to worry about, you know, losing their job, just coming in one day and not having a job.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned your past relationships. How did that kind of develop, and how did that help you like take your first steps into your own company and find reliable people to work with you?
Um, well, we were really lucky. We had some people that we had worked with in the past that were like, they were looking for that stability, and people that we were friends with that we had worked on projects with in the past. So we knew the quality of their work, and they knew that what they were getting working for us, and that they were going to be treated well,
Mm-hmm.
and given the support that they needed to do the job that they wanted to be able to perform.
Mm-hmm.
We hired a couple people just off the street,
Mm-hmm.
fresh out of college, and that were really eager to learn what we were doing and excited about it. And we even ended up hiring another guy he had worked for 7 years
Mm-hmm.
in the industry, and nobody had ever actually taught him how to do his job.
Hmm.
He had never been actually trained, and he was working for another company at the time, and that was working on the same project as us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because sometimes, like the oil and gas companies, they might hire two different brokers
Mm-hmm.
in case one of them's a problem, just kind of spread things out. And this guy, he had worked for them, in the past, and he was just picked up as a subcontractor, and he was just really struggling to be able to produce. And so the company we were working for asked if I could, kind of help him. And he was so like happy to actually have somebody to that was willing to do that he didn't even work for, just to make the project a success. That when that project was over, he asked if he could come on board with us.
Would you describe meeting and hiring these people as worthwhile, almost risks?
Yeah, absolutely. Because anytime that you're hiring an employee, it's a contract and between, not just the company, but also between you as an employer and your employee, and relationship. You're going to feel willing to take a risk with maybe somebody that you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
In the case of hiring somebody that you never worked with before, that they're going to show up. And not everybody that we hired was a success. Sometimes the bar is to get somebody to show up.
How do you think you describe your employees' responsibilities?
They're responsible for their own work. So, no, I don't believe in micromanaging. I don't want to stand over top of anybody's shoulders. So I will just kind of allow them to do what they already knew how to do, and then help. And then once we trained the people that needed to be trained, we um, let them do their work on their own, and then we would review it and work with them. Always there to provide support without, holding anybody's hand or making them feel like they were not capable of doing it. And everybody, were, very successful,
Mm-hmm.
and just really owned their work.
In an environment like that, how did you promote team building and good communication between everyone?
Well, just you have to make it a priority.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make it a priority to like just talk with everybody, have everybody, work together, support each other. We would order lunch and
Mm-hmm.
just, we sometimes just everybody sharing pizza is a little team building experience. But I think a lot of the time is knowing that you can count on your coworkers and your employers to have your back and to be there to help you and to talk about things because there's a lot of difficult research that sometimes you have questions about, sometimes you're just not sure about, and being able to build those relationships where people can talk to each other and ask questions and feel really safe and comfortable in that environment. Was key.
And as a leader, what was it kind of like for you? Like, what was your work like?
For me, um, well, my brother, he handled the leasing projects, and I oversaw the title projects for the most part. So I was working with the majority of the team in training, and as far as making sure that the title work was getting done, it was what our clients needed, and in the time frame that they needed it in, because sometimes it was very fast paced. Um, and I also ran just kind of the day-to-day operations, like the timekeeping, the taxes, all of the general business, scheduling, things of that nature. Um, I took care of all of that, um, in addition to overseeing the projects, and I worked on the projects too. So, um,
Did you ever face any like problems or setbacks, and how did you handle those?
yeah, yeah. There's always going to be problems and setbacks. We had a situation where we found out they were not doing their work,
Mm-hmm.
um, and we had kind of put a lot of faith in this person, and um, they were kind of working on their own. And a few weeks in, the client starts asking questions like, "Hey, this person hasn't turned anything in, hasn't turned anything in." Our client, the oil and gas company, they want their stuff. We don't know what to tell them, and so we started digging into it, and the person was coming in and getting paid, but not actually going where they were supposed to be going. So we had to kind of rally the troops and send everybody to the county, the courthouse where that one person had been working. Um, Obviously, we didn't keep them on, but